Hi, everyone. My name is Jake Vasquez. My teammates are Dan Schechter, Harsh Patel, and Kiran Aiyar, and we are TutorVision. So our problem, in essence, is that tutors understand in a broad sense which topics the tutee does not understand, but they're unable to get a clear enough picture on what specific phrases, stimuli, and subject material the tutee has misconceptions on. This leads to the tutor being less than optimally effective in personalizing lesson focus. So what's our vision for this? We want to help tutors and tutoring agencies more effectively understand their students' mental models in less time. Also, by utilizing AI-based confusion detection, a tutor can get detailed insight into areas where students are struggling to develop more personalized lesson plans. In essence, TutorVision is an intelligent tutoring system designed to help tutors diagnose their students' misconceptions using information generated by an eye tracker. The tutor will benefit by getting an aesthetic, AI-based report dependent on the student's mental models and gaze patterns. So some of the research we've conducted to help validate our design is as follows. Confusion detection using eye tracking can provide us with an individual's emotional and cognitive loads and assess their reading behaviors. Neural networks can be a great tool to identify confusion in the context of processing information from eye tracking. Referring to users' self-rated confusion along with fixations on relevant areas can help with the early detection of confusion on topics being read. And finally, a different type of intelligent tutoring system is MetaTutor, which replaces a tutor rather than being an aide, and which takes inputs from the user during the working session and combines them with the eye tracking data output to analyze cognitive load.
So the main aspects of our contribution and innovation consists of connecting advanced technology to a non-scientific consumer base. We've also recorded confusion feedback from students after they finish reading rather than during to preserve the integrity of the data that is being collected during the process of silent reading. Finally, we created a dynamic and intuitive tutor report to display the confusions on a per-line basis. The scientific contribution of our design starts off by leveraging an eye tracker's ability to capture what are known as pupillometry metrics, such as gaze location and pupil dilation. When you slow down to read, whether it's to understand something or because you're confused, your eyes tend to focus on the more difficult sections. These are called fixations and can be seen in the graph. Our data analysis code processes this raw data, then feeds it into the neural network, which can detect patterns in the densely interconnected web of data and make predictions for new information. In our case, the prediction is the confusion level. Our input or features are the number of syllables per line, percent of complex words, fixation duration, and left and right pupil dilation difference, which is based on the student's overall average. 2 weeks ago, we were at a prediction accuracy of 36% and were able to increase this number to 60% for the neural network. Since then, we switched to what's called a light gradient boosted machine, which is a tree-based learning algorithm. Due to the lack of diversity in data we were able to collect, we also grouped the confusion levels into primary, secondary, and tertiary confusion levels. This new approach more than doubled our initial accuracy level to 73%, which was more than the target of 70% that we had. A future step that can be implemented is to use machine learning method called stacking, where the predictions from 2 different classifiers go through another layer of deep learning to further improve accuracy.
As Harsh mentioned before, we used an eye tracker, specifically the GazePoint GP3 eye tracker, to collect and store gaze data. It provides us with the raw eye tracking data, which we have used in turn to detect confusion. We accomplish this by using Python data analytics, which is the basis for our neural network. Lastly, our tutor report is made through JavaScript. It provides tutors with areas of concern based on the confusion level, as well as additional data about fixations and other events that the tutor has easy access to if they want a more detailed look into that trial. Dan will expand upon this in a couple slides. Because of COVID-19, we currently have a very small number of test subjects for which our neural network analyzes. The training group was 10 Rutgers engineering and science upperclassmen. Our control variables were distance sitting away from the computer screen, the eye tracker being calibrated for each subject before any data was taken, and keeping the subject's head as still as possible so as not to disrupt the calibration. We gave each subject 3 different paragraphs, ranging from easier to more difficult. Those characterizations are based on the Flesch-Kincaid Readability Score Scale, which is a test designed to numerically indicate how difficult a passage in English is to read. We collected a few different types of data. First was the gaze videos, a screenshot of which you can see on the bottom left of the screen. These videos allow us to see the paths of the subject's pupils in real time. Secondly, the subjects were asked to rate their confusion for each line they read of each paragraph on a scale of 1 through 10. We fed the training sections of our neural network processed versions of this data so it can begin to analyze different sections or different subjects' reading and comprehension patterns.
So that design outlined the structure of our experiment, but you still might not have a clear picture of exactly what goes on during an eye tracking experiment trial. So here we have a demonstration for you. So we start each and every trial by having a student sit down at a desk and find their eyes in an eye tracker. And here's what this looks like. You can see the green circles and boxes around the subject's eyes, indicating that the eye tracker had locked onto their pupils. So once that's done, the precise movements need to be detected properly. And this is done through calibration. So what's happening here is the eye tracker software is giving 5 distinct points on the screen for the subject to look at. If they look right on the dot, the eye tracker will be more accurate. And here you can see a bit of a test of sorts of how accurate the eye tracker actually is. The smaller the deviation from the center dot, the more accurate. So now we're ready to start gathering data. And right here is one of our subjects reading an abstract from a research paper about eye tracking. From only 10 test subjects that we had, we gathered 60,000 data points from tests exactly like these. So now we have to see how confused they were at each line. And we asked them to rate each line on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest, about how hard each line was for them to read. And here are the results for 3 passages read for 1 test subject. Next, our analysis software will export a CSV file with the time of each data point, the X and Y coordinates as a percentage of the screen size for each data point, and their left and right pupil diameters in millimeters. And this is the main file that gets run by our Python script, neural network, and LGBM model shown in this figure. And once all trials are done, we feed the complete data set into a JavaScript file, which outputs our tutor report shown here. This is the exact same picture that the students saw taking their trial, except now we've honed in on the areas of interest so the tutor knows what to focus on when tailoring a lesson plan. And we even color-coded the boxes to rank the fixation boxes by confusion level. And that's one full trial. We repeat this over and over again to train the neural network even further so that a student in the future won't have to input their confusion levels after reading a trial. And instead, TutorVision will be able to predict it now that it has training data from a population. So our project management method involved Harsh and myself working mainly on the coding and the neural network and LGBM design, and Jake and Kiran taking on research and final deliverables. Some of the ways we mitigated our primary risks were by using a rigid data collection technique and automating our process to prevent coding bugs. And additionally, we understand the effect a small testing sample size will have on the accuracy of the confusion scores produced by our models. And with that said, thank you all very much for your time and attention, and we'd be happy to take any questions or suggestions.